We're gonna make it look fly with some DIY. We're gonna make it look fly with some DIY. We're gonna make it look fly with some DIY. Uh-oh, thrift diving.
Hey, what's up? It's Serena Apia from ThriftDiving.com, which is a do-it-yourself blog, YouTube channel, and podcast that helps you decorate, improve, and maintain your home with paint, power tools, and thrift stores without sacrificing your budget, the environment, or style. Welcome to episode 135 of the Thrift Diving Podcast. And today we are talking about something so not related to DIY. I guess you could say it's DIY, but we're talking about our health because the new year's coming, 2024 is coming. And I know that this is a DIY blog, YouTube channel, podcast, but I don't really care about staying on topic because I want to talk about health. I want to talk about something that I have been doing called the 75 Hard Challenge. And I like talking about lifestyle type issues, whether it's improving your health, improving just your life, your productivity. This is a topic I've always been really fascinated with. And so because I have a platform, I'm going to talk about it. Is it on topic? I don't know. But I guess you could say it is DIY because, you know, you could hire a trainer, right? The new year's coming. Some people actually do hire trainers. I kind of like to do my own thing. I do a lot of DIY stuff, and I also DIY my own health. Well, a friend of mine is the one that had put me onto this 75 Hard Challenge. I had heard about it before. I believe the guy, his name is Andy Frisella, I believe. He's the one that created it. I didn't know that until I was probably about 2 weeks into the challenge. All I knew is that you have to follow these 5 or 6 things every day for 75 days. And if you skip one of these items, you got to start back at day 1. And when I first heard about it, I thought, well, that's insane. I can't do 2 workouts a day. I can't drink a gallon of water a day. Like, what? And so I got interested, though. I got interested because there was a friend, well, I should say a Facebook friend, a fellow blogger. She used to be a blogger. Maybe you know her. She used to have I think she still owns it, called Inferently Creative. I think that's the name of it. Her name's Becky. And so I had seen her posting this on Facebook saying that she just completed the 75 Hard Challenge and, you know, she looked fantastic. And I thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And I think that gave me the motivation to really try. Because prior to that, a friend of mine, he had told me about it and I thought, I can't do that. Well, let me tell you what it entails. So for this 75 Hard Challenge, they tell you that you have to do these things every day. Number 1, you have to do 2 workouts a day. I mean, that's hard to sustain. There are days when I will do 2 workouts a day even when I wasn't part of the 75 Hard Challenge. And maybe I would run in the morning and then by the evening I would lift weights, right? I started my health journey, for those of you who've been following along. I started my health journey, I would say, probably about April of 2021. I'd gotten to my biggest. I'm a tall girl. I'm 5'10", almost 5'10". I just round up because it's easier. I like that extra quarter inch. I give it to myself. And my entire life, I've always been tall and slim. And I would say before having kids, and it's so funny, isn't it funny how women will always resort to that point in her life before she had kids? And she could be 65 years old and she's always talking about before she had kids. Like that was our prime time, right? Before I had kids, I was always about 150 pounds. And then, you know, over the years having children, I kind of got stuck at about 175 to 170. That became my new set point as an older woman. I mean, I'm 46 years old now, which sounds insane. Why does that sound so old? I just turned 46. And because I had this new set point, I could never really get and maintain 165. 165 is kind of like, you know, that's my sweet spot. That's where I want to be. Well, I had gotten up to 182, 183. This was back in the spring of 2021. And at that time, I thought, this is insane. Like, I look pregnant and I'm not pregnant. I have back fat rolls. I'm just, I'm filling out my jeans. I mean, we women, we want weight back there, but we don't want weight everywhere. And it had gotten to the point where it was everywhere. So I started running, started doing Weight Watchers, started lifting weights, and I was doing pretty good. I got down to about 165 and was able to hold it for a little while. And then I was kind of at like 168 and I was holding steady at 168. Well, there's something about the month of October of 2023, something happened. Suddenly I started going crazy. I think what had happened, I had gone to the Maryland tailgating, and when you're like there with your brother-in-laws and you're drinking a lot of beer and eating a lot of chips and things, somehow you magically wake up and you're 5 pounds heavier. Well, that seems like that's what happened to me. And then I was not able to drop it. I started eating like a pig. And next thing I know, I was looking at the scale, seeing 182, 183, 181, and I started freaking out. I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. This is where I was in 2021. So I decided that I was going to try to get serious. And the only thing that really captured my attention was this 75 hard challenge. And let me back up and say that even throughout this whole time from 2021 to this most recent of October, November of 2023, I was still working out. I was still running. I was still going for my runs in the morning. I generally run 3 to 5 miles in the morning. Some days I would walk, but every morning that's when I would get up and I would do my workout to no avail. Like that's what I would do. But let me tell you something. For those of you who are trying to lose weight, working out isn't going to cut it. It's not the panacea for weight loss. It's really not, because what you put in your mouth makes a huge difference. If anything, I would say if I had to break it into percentages, I would say it's probably 70% food, 30% exercise. And so if you don't have a good grasp on what you eat, it doesn't matter how much you exercise. It's not going to make a difference. And so that's what I kind of found myself in that situation where I was still doing my morning workouts, thinking that that was enough, going to the gym to lift weights here and there, but it wasn't enough. I started going crazy on the food. So back in October, a friend of mine had sent me this 75 hard Instagram reel. And I thought, are you kidding me? Like that's ridiculous. Like who can do, here's what you have to do. You got to do 2 workouts every day. You have to drink a gallon of water every day. You've got to take progress pictures every single day. And you have to follow a diet. It can be any diet. It doesn't matter if it's keto, if it's, maybe you're going to do a vegan diet, whatever. Count calories. It can be whatever diet, but you got to stick to that diet. You cannot have any cheat meals, as they say, and no alcohol. I'm not a heavy drinker, so, that really hasn't been difficult. And you have to read 10 pages every single day. And these 10 pages have to be in a nonfiction book. It can't be an audio book. It's got to be a real book, paper book. And it can't be, a romance novel. It's got to be nonfiction, self-help book. Something that's going to take your life to the next level, to make you a better person. And so I was worried about this. Like, am I going to be able to do this? But when I saw that Becky did it and she sent me some her before and after pictures, I thought, wow, this is great. And she's like, well, let me know when you're done. I said, when? Don't you mean if? I mean, even at that time, I still didn't think that I could do it. And I'm here to tell you that I'm on day 54 of this challenge. Now, technically, I probably should have started at day 1. And let me tell you why. Yesterday, I ran into a little bit of a health challenge. So every 3 months, I go and get my blood work done. There was a previous episode that I told you that I'm pre-diabetic. Technically pre-diabetic, according to my A1C numbers. A1C is a measure of the last 3 months of your blood glucose. And I am technically pre-diabetic. I've been pre-diabetic from probably 20 years old. Whenever I first had my A1C checked, I've been pre-diabetic. And I have a strong family history. My dad had diabetes. He died at 48 of a massive heart attack. He had diabetes. He had gout. He had other things going on. And so it's not really a surprise that I am pre-diabetic. And I often imagine that if I wasn't as health conscious as I am, I probably would already have diabetes. I mean, I do have a sweet tooth. I love sugary things. I love baked goods. I love all those things. And I do fight with myself to make sure that I don't overindulge in those things. And that's why something like this challenge is good for me, because you have to follow a diet. So I was following Weight Watchers for a while. That subscription had ended. And so I'm now tracking just calories. And I'll tell you that, when you're tracking what you eat under something like Weight Watchers, it really forces you to make better choices, because even though you can eat anything on Weight Watchers, they kind of force you not to eat too much of the bad stuff, right? And I know some people don't like to call things bad, but come on, we know that pizza's not good for you. We know that donuts are not good for you. These things are things that just make you sick. They taste good, but they make you sick if you eat too many of them. And what I loved about the Weight Watchers program is that you can eat it, but you just have to have enough points for it. So do you want to store up your extra points in order to have that donut or that slice of pizza? It forces you to decide how you're going to budget those points. And then once that program actually, I think as it had ended, the subscription had ended, and I said, let me just go ahead and count calories. And I do find that I'm eating a lot more junk now that I'm counting calories, because I'm like, that donut has 230 calories. Okay, great. Like I still have 1,600 more calories, and I don't look at the quality of the food. So I need to do better about that. But, for this 75 hard, it says no cheat meals. Well, no cheat meals is really subjective. For me, no cheat meals means I've got to stay within my calories. So I can't go over my calories. Now, if I do go over my calories, the next day, I better make sure that I account for those calories that I went over. And that's only happened a couple times. Some people would say, nope, you got to start back at day one. You went over your calories. But I don't believe that any kind of program that you're doing should be so strict and regimented. Here's the problem. When you are trying to follow something perfectly, we're not perfect people. We're human. We all make mistakes. We all get into situations that we make not good decisions. And it's okay to self-correct. Well, on this 75 hard challenge, they pretty much make it so that you can't self-correct at all. Well, yesterday I had a little health issue. I went and got my 3-month blood draw. Well, actually I had a doctor's appointment a week ago. I had the blood work done. Again, because I'm pre-diabetic, I get blood work done every 3 months. And there was a couple of results that came back that worried me. And they were kidney values. Creatinine was a little high, and then something called eGFR was a little low. And the nurse practitioner that I see had told me, well, yeah, I'm a little concerned about that, but you probably were just dehydrated. I was like, dehydrated? You don't think that I'm drinking a gallon of water a day. I mean, a gallon of water a day is not dehydration, but because I'd had the blood work at 8 a.m., it could be that, there had been a long stretch of, overnight. And then in the morning, I hadn't gotten started with drinking the water yet in the morning. So I didn't drink all of my water last night. I did not drink the full gallon of water because I was so worried, like, is it the water? That's the only thing that I've done differently in the last 3 months in order for these labs to, suddenly be awry. And so I got a little scared last night, decided I'm not going to drink this gallon of water. I think I had maybe about, I would say probably about 2/3 drank. So I had about a third left in the container. I was like, I'm not drinking this tonight. So technically I should probably be at day one, but I'm not going to, kill all of my progress for the previous 53 days. Today is day 54 for me, and I'm going to continue. I'm just going to take my water and I'm going to cut it. I think I'm going to cut it down to about 84 ounces because there's a book that I'm reading as part of this challenge. It's called Life Force by Tony Robbins. Excellent book. I will leave a link down below if you want to check this book out. But in this book, they were talking about how much water do you need to drink? And a good rule of thumb was half of your body weight in ounces. So if I'm about 170, no, I was 169 this morning. So yes, I have lost weight doing this challenge. And so half of that, I think it came out to like 84, 85, ounces. And so that's what I'm sticking to. And I think for anything that you decide that you want to do for 2024 in order to get yourself into better health, I don't know if you have to be as strict as this. This program, they never say that it's a weight loss program. You will lose weight on it because you're walking or working out twice a day. You are drinking a lot of water. You are being mindful. You're following a diet, any diet. And it's a pretty tough program. They call it a mental toughness challenge. But you will lose weight. But whatever it is that you decide to do for 2024, if you are trying to get into better health or to lose weight, give yourself a little bit of grace. Give yourself a little bit of grace because, sometimes these challenges that we do, I know there's other people that are doing like a 30-30-30 challenge. You know who you are if you're listening to this. These challenges are great. These 30-30-30, within 30 minutes of waking up, 30 grams of protein, 30 minutes of exercise. I think whatever it is that you follow is going to work. The main thing is that you just have to be consistent. That's it. And I think with this 75 hard challenge, that's what they try to teach you is consistency. And there are so many opportunities to make excuses for why you can't work out, for why you can't eat well, for why you can't read this book. I mean, think about the last time you made an excuse for your health, right? Like, I should go for a walk, but I'm really tired today, or I'm not feeling up for it, or I had a really tough day at work. I just want to watch this Netflix. I get it. Those are valid excuses, but they're still excuses. And so what I've liked about this 75 hard challenge is that there are no excuses. Okay. Even a health, this is one exception where I have the little asterisk. If I have a health issue related to, or if I think it's related to something that I'm doing as part of this challenge, I'm going to have to make changes, and I'm going to give myself that grace. But let me tell you about the times that I didn't allow any excuses to get in the way of me doing what I have to do for this challenge. I told you in the previous episode, in episode 134, that I'm doing this bathroom makeover with my friend. And there were a couple of times when I was out with her and I hadn't gotten my workout in, right? So I've been walking. Sometimes I will run in the morning. I'll run maybe 5 miles, but for the most part, I've been walking 3 miles in the morning, 3 miles in the evening. And on this one particular day, I hadn't gotten my evening workout in. And she and I had gone out to a Thai restaurant. We're talking about the project, having a good time. We're sitting there in front of her house in the car talking, girl talk. And I look at the clock and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's almost 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. And I didn't do my second workout yet. So I was like, okay, girl, I have to go. I have to get out of here. So I get home about 10:30 and guess what I did? Put on my sneakers, put on my little light reflectors. I did put on my headphones. I know it's not the safest thing to be out there walking at night with headphones, but I do leave one ear available to listen. And I just got out there and did it. And it takes me 52 minutes for the most part to do 3 miles, to walk 3 miles. And I did it. I came back at about 11:30 and it was late, but I did it. I did not let that be an excuse. Or the time when she and I were out shopping for some things for her bathroom and I had not done my first workout yet for the day because I think the plumber was coming over early and then we had to shop and do some other things and I had not done my first workout. Well, at this point it was already like 2:30 in the afternoon. And I just said to her, I was like, hey, do you want to go for a walk? Like we were at her house and I said, do you want to go for a walk? And then we'll go out to eat, have lunch. And she's like, yeah, let's go for a walk. And we did a 45-minute walk. That normally wouldn't have happened. Like she and I have never just out of the blue, hey, do you want to go for a walk? And we just start walking around her neighborhood. But we did it. So when you're following a program like this, it kind of forces you to remove the excuses and to look for opportunities in order to meet these obligations that you promised that you would do for this challenge for yourself. And so if you're thinking about doing a a program, whether it's 75 hard, I'll leave a link down below, whether it's 75 hard, whether it's 30, 30, 30, the main thing that I want you to think about is how to be consistent and how to remove the excuses. Don't do it to the detriment of your health, right? Yesterday for me, it really did bother me to know that like, oh my gosh, my labs were fine in June. Here it was September, my labs were fine. And then suddenly, your kidney labs look weird. That was concerning to me. And the only thing different that I had done was the 75 hard challenge. I was like, am I drinking too much water? Am I not putting electrolytes in my water? I mean, is it just too much? Am I flushing everything out? Like, what am I doing? I'm doing something. And that did prevent me from finishing that gallon of water. I was scared. So I technically should be on day 1, but I am going to cheat. I'm going to cheat and I'm going to say I'm on day 54 because I'm not going to allow that health scare to ruin my progress. And everything else today has been on point. I did my 10 pages. I did, my workout, and I still have my next workout to do. And I'm going to do that at 6:17 p.m. and I'll do it probably 8 o'clock. But I want you to think about, what are the health goals that you want to set for yourself for 2024? I think a lot of times we say that we want to be healthier. We say that health is important to us, but we make a lot of decisions that are really not that good for us. And I know eating right, it's so hard. It really is. There's a guy that I follow that I will link to below. And I follow him on Instagram and I really like his approach. He doesn't believe a lot of these gimmicks. Honestly, he would probably think, and it's so funny. I think I need to go and see if he's actually commented on the 75 hard challenge. The guy's name is Jordan, and I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. I don't know if it's Syatt or I think it's Syatt, Syatt, Jordan Syatt. I think you can find him via Syatt Fitness or something like that. But his belief that you just need to do 3 things. Let me see if I can remember what they are. He is talking about, like, in terms of diet, you need to eat 1 big salad every day. I will say he calls it 1 big ass salad. Oh, he's very vulgar with he drops the F-bomb so many times, which I don't mind because I tend to do too. But just a forewarning for any of you who don't like cursing, he will curse a lot. But he says, you have to eat 1 big ass salad, 2 pieces of fruit, and drink 3 cups of water, 3, big cups of water. He's like, and if you can do that, your day is really going well. Like you're doing everything that you probably need to do in order to be healthy with your diet. And he's very simple. He's very simple with he kind of follows the belief that, you just have to be in a calorie deficit. And he's done experiments where he's like, look, you could eat fruit all day. You could eat sugar all day. Not saying you should, but you could eat donuts all day and still be below your caloric needs and still lose weight, So it's really interesting, some of the content he puts out there. And I think it makes you feel better about not having to follow tricky, confusing diets or, follow some of the mumbo jumbo that you hear on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. It really just comes down to salad, eat a big salad, eat 2 pieces of fruit, and drink 3 cups of water. And if you can at least do that for the day, of course, your exercise, then you're good. You're probably going to be okay. Just keep moving and keep doing those 3 things. So anyway, I want to know from you, what are your health goals for 2024? I know that this has nothing to do with thrift diving, but it's something that's important to me. And I like to think of it as DIY because, you could pay thousands of dollars to hire a trainer and a nutritionist and all of that. But, if you're like me, you're not really going to pay for all of that. You're just going to try to figure it out on your own. I'm a DIYer through and through, whether it's decorating, making things, building things, whatever, I'm going to do it myself. And I've been DIYing my health really for the last couple of years. So I guess it is kind of DIY, right? Anyway, I want to know from you, what are your challenges? that you want to focus on for 2024 when it comes to your health, right? Like, are you someone like me who's pre-diabetic and you're trying to get your A1C down? Are you trying to like get down to a certain body fat percentage? We're going to talk about in another episode, we're going to talk about specifically what are your goals for 2024. I know last year I didn't really set any goals, and I do want to talk about that in another episode. But specifically, I want to talk about health and your goals. So send me an email, serena@thriftdiving.com. Find me on Instagram @thriftdiving. Let's talk about it. I'm here doing my thing, trying to get myself healthy and stay healthy. And I know you probably are too. And you're probably going to be doing it yourself. This is your DIY project for 2024. Make yourself your project. And I guarantee you will have some success as long as you're consistent. All right. Thanks for listening. And I will see you next episode.
Thrift diving. Find it ugly, make it pretty. Paint the power tools alright. Saving money.